Just out of curiosity, if you're here tonight from Ireland, raise your hand. Oh, sure, we're glad to have you here. Those of you locally who don't realize what has happened, these folks spent their money, came with Robert to the United States. They started out in Nashville. They went to Memphis. Now they're here. They leave here. I think you're all going down somewhere down in South Louisiana from here. And then eventually headed back to Ireland. That, folks, is a fan base. Folks that will spend their money to come across the pond to be a part of an event like this and the events that have taken place since they hit our shores. We welcome you. We're glad you're here. We hope you come back. Don't be strangers. We'd love to see you again. Now, Robert, if you wouldn't mind, come on up here and join me on stage. Some of you may not know, because I work in radio, yesterday morning I had the pleasure to do a telephone interview with Robert from Memphis before you all left to come down here, and it was a very enjoyable interview. I really enjoyed it. It was a pleasure. From the city of Shreveport, got a couple of folks here that I'd like to bring up. The Assistant Chief Administrative Officer, Brian Crawford. Come on up. Come on. And District D City Councilman Michael Corbin. Come on up, Mike. Now, I would like to turn this microphone over to Brian because he has a proclamation he would like to present. And when he's finished doing that, Michael has what he'd like to present too. So, Brian.
Thank you so much. And let me say on behalf of the city of Shreveport and the 200,000 citizens who live in this city, those of you who have come from Ireland, welcome. Welcome to our great city. It is our humble honor to have you here as our guests. And I'll be perfectly honest with you. Robert Mizzell, is that correct? I had to do a little internet research on Robert and was overwhelmed and blown away by the talent that was created by this man, a native Shreveporter from here. Boylan High School graduate, I believe, served in the U.S. military, for which we are very grateful, both as a city, state, and country. Thank you for your service. But what I was most impressed with was the rendition that I got on his online page of Proud Mary. Wow, what a voice, what a talent. Welcome back home, Robert. So on behalf of the mayors of the city of Shreveport, the Honorable Cedric B. Glover, the mayors of Bossier City, the smaller city on the other side of the river, Lorenz Walker, I read this official proclamation. Whereas the Walk of Stars Award was created to recognize individuals from Northwest Louisiana who are distinguished in their professional and/or civic endeavors and who have brought recognition and attention to the area and who have been involved in those activities for at least 5 years. And whereas the honoree may come from any profession or industry, including but not limited to athletics, as in Robert's case, music, acting, business, politics, education, and community service. And whereas Robert Mizzell is a native of Shreveport, Louisiana, and has had 3 #1 hits on the European country music ECMA charts, including the recent duet with country superstar Cullen Ray, and his ballad Mama Courtney was named Song of the Year in 2010 by the ECMA. And whereas on Saturday, October the 29th, at 6:30 p.m., Irish country music star and Shreveport, LA native Robert Mizzell was to be inducted to Greater Shreveport's Walk of Stars in the Red River District. Now, therefore, we, Cedric B. Glover, Mayor of the City of Shreveport, and Lorenz Walker, Mayor of the City of Bossier City, do hereby proclaim Saturday, October 29th, 2011, as Robert Mizzell Day in Shreveport and Bossier City.
Good evening. We hope you've had a great day in Shreveport today, and we thank you for coming this long way. Many of you who have traveled to be here, we appreciate it, and we know that you love Robert, and that's why we're here tonight. On behalf of Lieutenant Governor Jay Darden, who could not be with us this evening, I'd like to read a proclamation. Whereas Robert Mizzell spent his early years in Louisiana before choosing to serve in the U.S. Army, and whereas after moving to Ireland to be with his wife Elaine, they started a family, he began to hone his musical talents, and whereas he has achieved many honors in the music industry, including European Country Music Awards 2010 Entertainer of the Year and 2007 Vocalist of the Year, and now induction into the Greater Shreveport Walk of Stars, and whereas his fondness for Louisiana and notoriety in the music industry are commendable. Now, therefore, I, Jay Darden, by the authority vested in me as Lieutenant Governor of Louisiana, do hereby proclaim October 29th, 2011, Robert Mizzell a Louisiana Ambassador, and do hereby command all citizens of Louisiana to show Robert Mizzell respect and honor.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. Thanks to the mayors, thanks to the Lieutenant Governor for taking the time to recognize this night. Those of you who are not familiar with Louisiana politics, the Lieutenant Governor is the guy that's primarily in charge of tourism and things of that nature. And I won't go into how he got that job, but anyway, that's what the Lieutenant Governor does. That's why he is so involved in what we're doing here tonight. I would like now to bring up Kelly Wells with the Shreveport-Bossier Convention and Tourist Bureau to share a few words with you.
Welcome to Shreveport-Bossier City, guys. I want to give you all a hand for coming out. I told Robert earlier, I said sometimes it's hard for me to get my wife to drive across town to have lunch with me, much less bring a bunch of folks over from another country across a giant ocean to Shreveport. And I'm sure it was on many of your bucket list from Ireland to come to Shreveport, Louisiana, by the time you ended your life. So we're so excited. This journey, this venture, this celebration started a few years ago via Jay Kirkpatrick, who many of you from Ireland met either in Nashville or Memphis. I know that Jay has had a relationship with Deidre Grant for years, and Jay called me one day out of the blue and said, "Hey Kelly, I've got a group that I'd like to visit with you about." And so we started talking, and I guess it was a year ago that I actually got to make the journey over to Ireland to discuss the itinerary and the logistics of bringing the group back. And there were concerns of the economy and other things of that nature of getting a group back. And you can imagine the excitement that I heard in Deidre's voice when she called me a couple weeks ago and said, "Kelly, we have got 96 folks coming to Shreveport." And it was so exciting I almost dropped the phone. That was exciting, and we work with numerous groups annually. And I've been doing this for about 10 years, and I've got to tell you, and I'm not lying, this is one of the most exciting weekends of my life. It's kind of like Christmas, you know. We started talking about last October, and for it now to be here, for the journey to be here, and earlier, and I thought it was so moving that we got to get on the bus with Robert and go through the first few years of his life, especially the group that got to go by Mama Courtney's house and meet some of Shreveport's finest, the Shreveport Police Department, and visit with some of his neighbors that grew up, and I didn't know it, but his nickname is Robbie. That's from a neighbor of his who remembered Robert Mizzell. It was exciting, and speaking to James Burton and some of these other greats that you'll walk across tonight on your way over to Chase's bar to get a beer, and but he is well deserving of this honor. I know that many of the stars that we've recognized have international recognition, but there's very few, if any other, that have got that international claim while living internationally. And so we're so excited, Robert. We're so excited, Deidre, for having the